I'm Devorah Wallen, and I'd like to share my tea for two, my Torah thought, for 2 minutes, more or less. Since this week is also Hanukkah, I thought I would put it out a little bit earlier this week. This week's Torah portion is Mikeitz, which means at the end, referring to 2 years after Yosef had been in prison, Pharaoh awakens from a dream that needs interpretation. He's told that Yosef correctly interpreted the dreams of the baker and the wine steward who were in prison with him. Yosef is summoned and correctly interprets the Pharaoh's dream regarding the 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine, and advises Paro wisely, and is elevated to the exalted position of viceroy. As the verse says, "And Pharaoh said to his courtiers, 'Could we find another like him, a man in whom is the Spirit of God?' So Pharaoh said to Joseph, 'Since God has made all this known to you, there is none so discerning and wise as you. You shall oversee my court, and by your command shall all the people be directed.'" Later it says, "And Paro said to Yosef, 'I am Paro, yet without you no one shall lift up a hand or foot in all the land of Egypt.'" So, put in charge, Yosef brilliantly saved and stored grain and was able to ration it to the nearby countries during the years of famine. During those years, Yaakov sent his sons to Egypt to get grain. The rest of the parsha is a tale of emotion, intrigue, reunion of the brothers, not recognizing him, and more. Ultimately, Yosef gets his family to bring his youngest brother Binyamin to him and does not yet, in our portion, reveal his relationship to his brothers. Instead, our portion leaves us with a cliffhanger. This week also is the holiday of Hanukkah, which began Sunday night and ends next Monday. It encompasses 2 portions that each have a secret, mystical allusion to Hanukkah in each. In our portion, there are 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. This week's Haftorah portion discusses a 7-branched candelabra, similar to the one in the Holy Temple. According to Nachmanides, the 12th century Spanish scholar, the number 7 is the number of the natural world. There are 7 days in the week, 7 notes in the musical scale, 7 directions, left, right, up, down, forward, back, and center. 7 represented by the 7 days of Sukkot, whereas 8 is represented by Shmini Atzeret, that is, that which goes beyond nature. Although apparently miraculous, all the events in our parsha go according to nature. Also in nature we see other 7s, for instance 7 seas and 7 continents, 7 species for which the land of Israel is praised, 7 days of the week, 7 vertebrae in the neck, 7 original planets, 7 layers of skin, 7 colors of the rainbow, etc. However, Hanukkah represents the transcendent and miraculous. The Chanukiah, or menorah of Hanukkah, has 8 candlesticks, representing the miracle of the oil. According to Beis Hillel, the school of Hillel's students, we add 1 additional candle each successive night in a manner of increasing light little by little. So on the first night we ignite 1 candle, the second night 2, etc. Although we were doing this in a stepwise fashion, increasing little by little, this effort and continuous growth is what brings the 8, the transcendent, culminating in the miraculous. The holiday is 8 days long since, according to tradition, the Maccabees found 1 jug of oil that should have lasted only 1 day, but it burned for 8 days. Some say the miracle occurred because of the extraordinary efforts made to find the pure and undefiled oil, even though unnecessary at the time. We learn, however, from the Mishnah Sota that God repays us measure for measure and then some. The consistent and persistent efforts of the Maccabees caused the response from above for the miracle to occur. Our menorah of current times has 8 candelabra, whereas the menorah in the Holy Temple had 7. By taking consistent and intentional steps in the natural realm toward the goal, we attain the miraculous. In the last couple portions, we spoke about the importance of staying in the struggle. With our continuous efforts in the direction of the goal, we eventually succeed. In the late 20th and early 21st century, neuroscience taught us a similar principle of neuroplasticity, the ability for the brain to grow and change. Although the Rambam, Maimonides, lived over 800 years ago, he was familiar with the basis of habit formation in the process of growth and change. In his work, Hilchos Deos, Laws of Ideas, he states, how can one train himself to follow these temperaments to the extent that they become a permanent fixture in his personality? He should perform, repeat, and perform a 3rd time the acts which conform to the standards of the middle road temperaments. He should do this constantly until these acts are easy for him and do not present any difficulty. Then these temperaments will become a fixed part of his personality. By just being in it and making the effort, Hashem lends a hand. Ethics of the Fathers says, the reward is in accordance to the hardships. Avos de Rabbi Nassim, a companion to Pirkei Avos, says, performing the mitzvos once with tsar, challenge, or pain, is equivalent to 100 times without hardships. The Slonimer Rebbe, named by his book The Divrei Shmuel, said, we light one candle on the first night of Hanukkah, and then an additional candle each night, which represents a person's spiritual growth. It should be done at a manageable pace, step by step. Even if there are only little steps, little by little, step by step, with consistent progress, we will attain our goals. On Hanukkah, we light 8 lights that allude to Hashem's relationship with us in a way that is above nature. By utilizing nature itself, along with the godly soul that is in us, we can attain the supernatural. May we learn from the lessons of this week to utilize our naturally endowed gifts in a continuously incremental manner to grow and spread greater light to our surroundings.